Hey friends, today we're making a flavorful bone broth. Now, I'm making this flavorful bone broth because my husband and I are looking to be a little bit more healthy, and we're looking for a healthy alternative to other things that we may make in the morning. I'll be honest with you, sometimes I get sick of smoothies, sometimes I'm tired of eating fruit, but I feel like the protein is where it's at for me, and eating sausage every morning may not be super healthy. It just may not. So I'm gonna make a bone broth. Let me tell you, I actually make this broth when my son gets sick because he doesn't like, most kids like chicken noodle soup or something like that. My kid doesn't. He just wants the broth when he's sick. And he was really cute at the time. He was like 5 when he got the flu, and it was the scariest week of my life. And he would say, Mommy, can I have some broth? It was adorable. Anyway, so here's what we're gonna do to make our bone broth and to make our sick kid broth that you can have, like if you just want to try to get a little bit more healthy, that you can do with your kids. The first thing we need is mirepoix, which is onion, celery, garlic. Onion, celery, carrot. I nearly said garlic, but garlic is fantastic. You should always include garlic. So let's talk about how we're going to do this broth. You can do it one of two ways. If you just want a quick broth, something like when my son was sick and he wasn't going to eat the vegetables, we just wanted the broth. Literally all you need to do is take vegetables, and I have some carrots here. You just need to cut them in half. You just need to make sure they fit in the pan, and we're going to boil this. And so you don't need to worry about how pretty the vegetables are looking, because if their kid is just gonna have the broth, you can strain out the vegetables anyway. You can literally cut an onion in half, take off the skin, that's cool, because you're gonna strain it anyway. If you want the taste of the vegetables, okay, you need to chop them up. If you don't care about the vegetables, if the broth is just your goal, then keep the vegetables large. That way it saves you time and you can strain it out. So that's basically what we're doing today. So we're going to include, again, our trifecta, mirepoix, onion, celery, carrot. I always add garlic to everything because I'm just that way. So garlic is amazing, especially if you do have a sick kid. I would add lots of garlic. Garlic is antibacterial. It's amazing. And onion is also as well. So make sure lots of onion, lots of garlic. Again, they don't have to eat it. They don't have to know it's in there. It gets in the broth. And if you want to have something that's more like a soup, what you can do is you can dice up the carrots. You can add peas. You can dice up the celery to have a more of a soupy type of a thing. But really the intention for today is not a full-blown soup, it's just the broth. So the first thing that you should know about dealing with broth, if you are starting with something like this doesn't taste good. I don't know if you've ever poured it into a mug because you're like, oh, bone broth, it tastes so good. This does not taste good. It is not seasoned. It does not have salts typically, because it'll say low sodium. Well, this one doesn't say that, but whatever. It says organic, cage-free, rich flavor, blah, blah, blah. Okay, it says use instead of broth. Okay, we're making our own, whatever. This isn't seasoned. It doesn't taste great out of the carton. And so when we're making this broth, we have to acknowledge this is our base. And what's gonna taste good is the vegetables that we put in there, and the seasonings that we put in there are gonna give it some pizzazz. So that's what's gonna make it taste good. Not necessarily this, but this along with everything else. So get out your favorite vegetables. And again, the intention right now is not a hearty vegetable soup, it's just the broth. And even if you just have onion, celery, carrot, some garlic, that's cool. We'll go through it together. And what I'm going to demonstrate today is how I would make it for my son when he's sick. You can also just do the plain sick kid broth, which is no vegetables, and add vegetables later if you wanted. You could even add a bag of, like half bag of the peas and carrots mix that you get at the grocery store. boom, you got vegetables. So really, this is very versatile, but it's also really good for you. And remember, like bone broth has a lot of collagen. It has all the things in addition to protein. So let's get started. We're gonna make this. It's gonna be fantastic. You're gonna love it. All right, we're starting out with our onion, celery, carrot. We're just going to take that with one of those Costco-sized containers of chicken broth. I add half water as well to make it go a little bit longer. So that's probably a cup or two of water. We're going to boil it for about 20 minutes. Then we're going to let it cool a little bit, and then we're going to strain it. And then that is literally it. This is not a complicated recipe. We literally want the broth in them with all of the good nutrients and antimicrobial, whatever bacterial stuff from the onion and the garlic. Also, my kid prefers to drink this in a mug. And it's just easier, especially if you have someone who's sick. And if they don't love it, that's okay. They can just down it really quickly and they can go back to bed. So as you can see, this is a really simple recipe. This is much more flavorful than if you were to use bouillon, or for God's sake, don't drink the chicken broth right out of the can because it has no flavor whatsoever. Hey guys, thanks so much for sticking around, and be sure to comment below and let me know what you think of this recipe. Like I said, this is a staple for my family, especially when it comes to cold and flu season. I used to go all out, used to make this really like elaborate chicken noodle soup for my son when he was sick. And then what I realized is when he's sick, he literally just wants that broth and that's it. And I put it in a mug for him and he drinks it because it's faster than dealing with the spoon. And when you're dealing with someone who's really sick, they don't want to do this, they want to do this, and they want to go to bed. Okay, so again, make it as easy, fast as possible. Get the nutrients into them. Let them go to sleep. Let them, pass out, get their rest, all of that. So let me know how you like this recipe. Let me know what you think of the broth. I think this is one of the simplest things that I have done in terms of keeping my family healthy. And I also, in doing this, gave myself permission to let go of making a full-blown soup when my kid is sick, because if he's not going to even eat it, if he's going to fish out all the carrots and everything else I chopped up, why am I bothering to do it? Okay, so again, comment below, let me know what you think, and make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll be posting more recipes like this in the future.